Oh, it's that button. And a very good evening to you. I am Griffin Epstein.
I'm Monica Schmidt.
And we are here broadcasting a full broadcast, not live. Unfortunately, this season has just not been kind over here at the Casa Grande field, where the Trojans are playing all their home games. But the Trojans, we are very excited to bring their next home game, their third home game of the season, last 3 games on the road, and it's been up and down, wasn't it, Annika? Obviously, the thrilling victory in the Egg Bowl 2 weeks ago here, where they're officially the road team, but a tough loss last week to Annalee. It was their first loss of the year. The Trojans are 4-1 on the year, and Sonoma 1-2 on the year. Sonoma, though, 1-0 in league, and this is the second league game for both teams. Very important. The Trojans badly need to get back in the win column, but Sonoma's got some talent. Last year they played similar teams, and Trojans had to tough out a slog of a victory. They won 21-0 in that one. So we are going to head to camera. Could you run camera for us, Annika?
Yeah.
So up top, yeah. So do you want to turn off your mic for now?
Yeah.
I'll join you up there at some point. So Annika Schmidt will be on camera with you. Yeah, follow the play. Up top, and we also have our on-field camera run by Luca DeBono. So, ready for kickoff here. As we mentioned, the Trojans suffered their first loss of the year. They opened up with a victory here against Montgomery, an offensive shootout. It was a much more defensive affair, but the Trojans pulled away from Santa Rosa. And then a thrilling comeback victory against Terra Linda, a high-scoring affair. Then the thrilling Egg Bowl victory here in that rivalry game. And then the Trojans were really crushed last night from the opening whistle against Annalee. First possession from the line of scrimmage, as Hogya has a short kickoff. Annalee scored. This is fielded at the 22, and breaking some tackles down to the 40. He's got some nice room to the 42 is the Sonoma Dragon. And yes, it is a little bit of a strange schedule for Sonoma. They had a bye to open up their year, and then their first game of the season was canceled. So, due to the heat, that moved a lot of games back. So Sonoma's only played 3 games on their season. Their first victory was last Friday against LC Allen in their first league game. Rocco Wetzel is the Dragons quarterback. And his first snap is a fake. He rolls out wide. He's got a good arm, but he is going down with a brutal sack by Luke Hager, the defensive captain. Oh, my goodness. Luke Haggard with just a huge sack. And that was cruel. And it will be 11:22 and counting. We're going to get that scoreboard cam up for you in a minute. Here's the give, and down the sideline and brought down at the 39 by a gang of Trojans is the Sonoma runner. It was, not sure, couldn't get the number there. Henry Darnell, only a sophomore. And they're going to give him about 6 on the play. It was a 9-yard loss on the sack. And as the final sun is setting, it was a gorgeous sunset. It will be 3rd down, and make sure to record during the plays. With that one? Yeah. It will be 3rd down and 13 from the 39. Wetzel on the gun. He'll hand it off. There is little to go. He maybe got back to the original line of scrimmage. But falling behind downs is tough if you're a Dragon. This Trojan defense is good at the line. Their big problem last week against Annalee was definitely with the passing game, as Medina for the Tigers absolutely torched them. Punting unit on for the Dragons. And this is Reyes with the punt. And Freitas, who's the expert kick returner, will just let it bounce. And Matthew Kalemba is calling me, so if you could talk a little bit, Annika. Hey, Matt.
Okay, that guy just said Henry Darnell, so we're not sure who it is at this point.
Hold on.
Okay, they're putting the ball down. Looks like we're close to finish here. Zoom out a little bit for you guys so you get the full. Okay, let's see what's happening. They just broke from the huddle. The Trojans look confident that they can keep Sonoma at bay. I really hope Griffin gets back soon. I don't know what that means.
Toss goes out to Justin Turner.
Yeah, Dan was saying that's how he was a starter.
So, if you didn't hear that, toss went down to Justin Turner. Okay, let's see what's going on now. Looks like we got number 5 running right now. And he's down at the line there. Ref says safe.
Toss goes out to Garrett Freitas.
Garrett Freitas.
Joseph Marinek on the tackle. First down, Trojans.
Thanks, Veronica, for doing that. 1st and 10 from the 34 for the Trojans after picking up the first down. It was Freitas with one of those carries. And this is Wolbert with the sneak, and he picks up a nice 6 yards. Justin Wolbert, the Trojans starting quarterback, can do a lot with his legs. So you're off now, Annika. Yeah. Wolbert can do a lot with his legs. Lahaney had the tackle for the Dragons. And so 9:08 and counting. 2nd and 2 after the Trojans picked up first down. They're going long, methodical drives. They don't score quickly most of the time. It's Ayers in the backfield. What a game he had against Danley. He'll pick up about 2 yards, and that's enough for the first. Dominic Ayers, 105 rushing yards against Danley. He was really, besides the backups, he was the lone bright spot in that loss. The final score was 48-32. And he has now 260 yards in the season. And Jacob Ralston, who's been the main offensive force for the Trojans, was really shut down in that game, only had 20 yards. And they just kept on going to Ayers, and they're doing that more. And it almost seems like Dominic's taking over that starting role at the running back position. Wolbert fakes it, takes it himself, and you're going to see him run a lot too. He actually has more rushing yards than passing yards on the season. And the last 2 games, it's been interesting, the lack of passing for the Trojans, who have just have 432 passing yards on the year, and they average only 85 passing yards per game compared to 300 rushing yards per game. It was exploited against Casa. The Trojans struggled a lot in that 2014 victory, and then really exploited last week against Annalee, where it wasn't until the backups came on that they really had any offense. They put up just 8 points in that first half. A little diamond formation. It's Freitas that comes in motion, and he'll take the catch, and he's got speed. Freitas at the 40. Blockers down to the 30. It's a foot race. He's shoved out at the 20. A great run by Garrett Freitas. Well, what an impressive run there. Freitas picks up 50. I'm sorry. Freitas picks up 30 on the carry. And the Trojans now at the 32 of the Dragons. And it will be Wolbert in the gun. He's got Havert split out wide, but it's a diamond formation. And this time it's a nice fake to roll. And diving down, and he's got a first down. Justin Wolbert, such a tenacious runner, and you will just see so many outstanding plays by him. Yeah? Oh, yeah, it's just a little tight there. I will try to get you some more slack. And make sure to stop recording when there's no play. So 7:32 after the first down run by Justin Wolbert. Just a few technical issues. Our producer is coming, so we'll have the full thing. But we have the pterodactyl down on the field for you today. So we'll be having live interviews, or interviews as live as the broadcast is. And that should be exciting. And that is about an 8-yard pickup. And the clock rolling down to 7. Already a 4-minute drive and counting for the Trojans. And they're going to have it at the 11-yard line of the Dragons. To the 5-yard run by Ayers. Trojans have a plethora of running backs they can go to. Ralston still such a force. He's the team's leader in rushing yards by far. And this was to Ralston, who buries his way for a couple. And into the end zone. Looked like there wasn't a lot there, but that is Jacob Ralston's forte. He just gets a few extra and darts his way in. And Ralston, who had 355 rushing yards to lead the Trojans coming into the game, gets his 10th rushing touchdown of the year, and the Trojans lead 6-0. That's the start you want after just such the disappointing performance. Apologize for whatever Luca was doing there. And you can see the cheerleaders up and cheering. So 6:29 remaining, and the Trojans will go for the PAT. They've been doing a lot of 2-point conversions. Isaiah Blomgren, 14 for 16 on the PATs, but he struggled more recently, only 1 for 3. That one, though, was pure. Right down the middle. And with 6:29 remaining, it is 7-0 Trojans, and that was exactly the start you want. So a very good start for the Trojans, and they didn't need passing, and if the Dragon defense is not good enough and they're just not going to be able to stop the run, it's going to be a long night for them, as they are going to struggle because the Trojan rushing attack by itself, so dynamic with Justin Wolbert being able to run, tosses out to Justin Turner, Garrett Freitas, and Ralston and Ayers right in the middle, doing a great job. So 6:29 left. We'll see what the Dragon offense can do. Can Rocco Wetzel, who's in his 3rd year as the starting quarterback for the Dragons, exploit the Trojan secondary that has really struggled? They were blown up, as we mentioned last week, but a lot of quarterbacks, Tara Linda took advantage of it. We saw Montgomery in the first game take advantage of it. Inexperience in that secondary has been the Trojans' weakness, and it really cost them against Adderley last week. But that defensive front so good. Quick kick here, back on the field. It was a short kick by Hogya, and the Dragon runner pushed back at the 38. If the Trojan defensive line can gain some traction, that will be huge, because they can prevent that pressure and just prevent Wetzel from even getting downfield and throwing many of those passes. And Matthew Colombo will be coming soon. Annika Schmidt will be joining me for much of the game. It is Wetzel in the gun. Dragons lost their first game to El Camino 2012 and then fell to Montgomery. The Trojans beat 41-13 before theirs. That's a 3-yard pickup there before they got the 35-21 win against LCL, who's not won an LCL game in a long time, but they are improved a lot in years past. Wetzel, 6'2", 195 senior. Derek Pomey with another tackle there, and he's the heart and soul of the linebackers on defense. We talked about Luke Haggard, already saw him. Xavier Kreisdale's on the other side. Interesting fake. No, it wasn't a fake. Well-designed play there by Wetzel, who gave it off to Joseph, the junior. But still only about 4 yards on the pickup, and that's going to bring up a 3rd down and 5 for the Dragons. And it was Nick Ayers cousin of Dominic Ayers, younger cousin, who forced him out. And certainly just so many ups for the Trojans in those first 4 games, but it was all brought down to earth when they lost to Annalee again. And what they're going to have to hope for is that Annalee falls down Molino when they play at the end of the year, and the Trojans go undefeated in the rest of SCL, which is exactly what they did last year. But this team is even better, obviously. Wetzel looks downfield. He's got it, man. And it is caught. No, incomplete. Oh, he had that in his hands. It was good last-second defense there by Freitas and Davis, who both came over to help after the Dragon wide receiver, which was Hurtado, the junior, had it in his hands, and he just got it knocked out. There was a flag, though, on the play, and it was holding on the Dragon, so in the end it wouldn't have mattered. Trojans will decline it, and as the ref drops his flag, it will be 4th down, and they will have to punt it away. Trojan offense will go back to work, looking for another of those long drives. One of the more interesting storylines coming out of that Annalee game was the good play of the backups, and especially Cole Powers, who looks so strong with the throwing arm, and Wolbert has struggled so much just looking downfield. You wonder if the Trojans try to go for Powers for throwing downfield because he's played better. Wolbert is certainly the smarter decision maker just because he's second year with the starting quarterback of the team, and he's probably a better runner as this ugly punt goes out at about the ref will spot it at the 27. It's quite a knuckler. It will be interesting to see if Powers is part of the game plan with this while this game remains close, if it remains close. A strong start so far for the Trojans, who are glad to be at home on a weird schedule. They did play here against Casa, but we're officially the road team. And then their next home game will be homecoming against Healdsburg. Certainly for the Dragons, it was a rough start to the year, just having to go through that schedule. They played a good El Camino team close down in South San Francisco, but couldn't get the victory. Diamond for him, airs in the backfield. Wolbert fakes out wide, and that is Freitas who breaks tackles. He's so electric. Now rumbling down the 50, spinning away to the 40. Garrett Freitas, just so fun to watch in the open field. He broke out against Montgomery when he had back-to-back touchdown returns. And Freitas, who has 35 catch yards on the season, can show that he can split out wide besides just out of the backfield where he has 111 yards. Still averaging 42 yards per kickoff return. Teams have started to learn, though, and kick it away from him. Wolbert will give it to Ayers. It is. It's a big hole. All the way down to the 29. He picked up speed as the O-line on the right side of Sabita and Kreisdale to Carley paved a road for him to rumble down. And it will be 1st down at the 29. That is going to go for a 25-yard pickup. And right now, the Trojan rush is just pounding it down the throats, and the O-line has just imposed its will until last week when they really struggled against an exceptional Annalee defensive line. Certainly, though, so many mistakes in that game. The Trojans have been perfect so far. This is Freitas, who takes the toss down to about the 22-yard line. And that will bring up a 2nd and 2. And we mentioned these teams played last year. Bob Midgley's Dragons had the Trojans in a dog battle, but such a different situation there. Trojans had won a game there. They had gotten blown out by Annalee the game before, but they had a much harder non-conference schedule and just not as good of a team and fell in all 3 of their non-conference games. Wolbert handoff up the middle is Ralston, and this time there's nowhere to go. You got maybe a yard, and it will bring up about a 3rd and 3. We'll await the spot. It's certainly been ours that's had a bigger game so far. So the Trojans came into that one certainly with a lot less confidence, but they pulled out a victory. Wolbert had probably his best pass of the season, Isaiah Blomgren 40-yard touchdown pass that made it 14-0 after it was 7-0 in the first half. And Riley Wisman had a huge game with an interception that clinched it. And the Trojan defense shut down the attack. There's a nice pass off to Turner. His first run of the day is all the way down to the 9. And just that is the great smarts of Wolbert as he was headed down the field, and you think, oh, he's going to run it, and then the late toss, and that is how you keep the defense guessing. And the Trojans just did not have that last week against Danley, and they were throwing the ball over people's heads. They look nervous and tense and down, and they look so comfortable so far tonight. Under 3 to go here in this first quarter. And Wolbert will toss out wide, and this is Wisman spinning, and I'm down to the 4. And I'm sorry, that was Freitas. And the Trojans are down to about the 8-yard line. And this is goal now. So only 2 yards actually on that pickup. Cheerleaders out in full force tonight for a spirited Saturday night affair. It's Saturday night due to that Casa played here last night, and it's airs just short. No, now they call him in. Touchdown, Dominic Ayers. We also got the first one. Ayers plows right down in, and the Trojan offense has seen smooth sailing so far. And it will be 13-0 as they are in comfortable control. And Cole Powers has gotten a few snaps in there too. Haven't mentioned that. So they have just sort of mysteriously done it, and the Dragons have not been ready, but they have not even attempted a pass, and so far it just hasn't been needed. High snap, but a good hold by Havard, and Blomgren boots it through again as PATs are looking much stronger so far today, and the Trojan fans very happy with the early effort. They lead 14-0 on this Saturday night. So back here in the broadcast booth, and a great start for the Trojans. It really could not go better, and the Dragons are going to have to find some answers to that rushing attack, because right now the Trojans look unstoppable. Been interesting, Cole Powers has been in there some of those snaps, and obviously Coach Chris liked what he saw from Powers last week in that fourth quarter where he threw for 2 touchdowns. He had 92 yards in total, 4 of 8 passing against some of the backups for Anley, but he really looked good, and Wolbert has so much struggled with his passes downfield. Powers just said after the game that he hoped he would get some snaps, but clearly Coach Chris is entrusting a lot in him so far. And it will be Hogya again who is taking over the kickoff duties. Blomgren now just PITs and field goals. Hogya brought up last year from JV, just a junior. But he's had 251 yards already on his kickoff, so he's done a good job. A big leg, and he shows it off there, except that it heads out of bounds, which is not what you want to show off, and that means the Dragons are going to get it at the 40. Got a lot on it, but it sailed wide right, and good field position for the Dragons and Rocco Wetzel, who hasn't looked too great so far. He had one nice pass downfield, but the Trojan secondary stepped up. Hello, Matthew Kalemba has joined us, and very glad that he is here. It was too loud? Oh. Apologies. Oh. Okay. Okay. Apologies if you haven't heard anything I've said or anything. Yeah, if I've been too loud. Dragons up the middle, but we're fixed because Matthew Kalemba, producer, is here. It is 2nd and 10. They're going to give no rushing yards on the carry. And it was Hurtado with the run. Dragons huddle and also take their time. And Wetzel's just such a big guy with a big arm. But the Trojans have limited him so far. And you know they were ready, and that secondary just wanted to step up. And now we have whistles. And delay a game on the Dragons. And, I mean, self-inflicted mistakes. We talked about some of their inexperience. You okay? Oh, is it really hot? Yeah, it's really hot. Okay. Okay. And that run was out wide, and no, I'm sorry, it's a pass out wide, and there was nothing there. And the problem with those self-inflicted mistakes and the delay game, I mean, you're just so far backed up, and the Dragons have been constantly behind the chains here. And the Trojan defense can blitz and bring Luke Haggard and Kreis down. Wetzel's running for his life. Okay. Wetzel has time, and he's got a man downfield, and he overthrew him. And this time he had a man, but Wetzel was just a little too hot on that pass. And Wisman with good coverage, and you will see lots of good coverage from Riley Wisman. He is the defensive captain in that secondary, really the only player that returns from last year. And the Trojans lost 9 seniors, so it wasn't too big of a deal. Obviously, Cristobal, the starting running back, and Santa on the defensive line were big losses. And we have a, no, it looked like a fake, but it was more of an Aussie-style punt, and that bounced off the Trojan returner, and the Dragons fall on it. Well, we didn't think we'd see any self-inflicted mistakes. The Trojans had been pretty much perfect until that. That bounced right off the shin of Freitas. When you bounces, you just got to get out of the way of it. And it took a funny bounce right into his shin, and the Dragons were ready to pounce on it. And they're going to get the ball right back at their own 49. So that was big there. And it will be Dragon ball with 23.9 left to go here in the first. Handoff up the middle. And about a 5-yard pickup. And you know that has to energize the Dragons. You have nothing going right. And the Trojans just sort of put their heads down and were disappointed last week when they fell behind early and played scared. And the Dragons got something to get them going, and that's what they wanted. And they will let it run down. End of the first quarter here. It is the Trojans 14, the Dragons nothing. Okay. What? Okay. He should. I think he's in the student section now. Oh, okay. Okay, cool. So, I mean, we could just not have an on-field camera for a little bit, I guess. So that is Matthew Kalemba, our wonderful producer here. 14-0, but a big turning point there as that went off the, oh, here's Annika. That went off the hip of Trojans. Annika's got her mic on. That was a, oh, that's how you raise it. Okay. That was a pretty good first quarter for the Trojans, wasn't it?
Yeah, I really liked it, how we scored points and the other team didn't.
Well, that's the simple approach of how you do it. And the Trojans did exactly that. Their rushing attack looked good. Let's head back onto the field.
And
we
are starting again. I will head back up there.
Thank you, Annika. And going nowhere that time is Darnell Susma, the senior who we've seen get most of those kick returns. As Annika will head back up and run camera. Make sure to turn off your mic. Okay, cool. So that is the approach you want on that line. And Haggard, we talked about, anchored all Redwood Empire last year on the O-line and on the D-line. And Crysdale also there. Many of the offensive line come over on the defensive line. And that's what a lot of people feel like is the Trojans' strength this year, along with the rushing attack. Wetzel looking downfield, and he's got a man all the way down to the 10. And there is that Trojan secondary getting burned. And that time it was the All-Pro Wisman in coverage who got beat. The Annalee just looked away from him last year and looked for the more unexperienced players. But that time it was Winslow, no relation to Justice Winslow in the NBA, who got loose downfield, made the catch, and now the Dragons in the red zone for the first time today. It will be up the middle, about a 3-yard pickup for the Dragons. And I'm going to grab my binoculars because it's just so hard to see up here with the numbers. And that was actually Winslow who made the catch with the carry. Ayers with the tackle. And Wetzel in the gun. A man will come in motion. And it's up the middle, diving. It's going to be a first down. And they're going to place the ball at the 2. And that was Winslow again. And Pomey with the tackle. And so far, the Dragons' big play, and now they can cut this lead in half. And the Trojans, we've seen this before, they imposed their will against Casa in that first quarter, led 14-0. Casa battled back, made some adjustments, and it was a tight thriller of a game. And the ball's on the ground. Wetzel had miscommunication, and it worked out in the end for the best of him because he goes into the end zone. The Trojan defense didn't know what to do with the ball on the ground as they were anticipating the handoff, which was supposed to be. And then Wetzel just had tons of room on the left side, and he could walk right into the end zone. Touchdown, Dragons. A bizarre play there. And the big 30-yard pass after the ball that went off the ankle of Freitas got the Dragons at the 50-yard line. As the Trojans are going to jump off sides here. Dragons punch it in. Chavez, Daniel Chavez, the senior, and also wide receiver, is the kicker for the Dragons. And now he's going to get to be 1 yard closer. And he missed it. Wide left. So 14-6, it will stay. 9:39 remaining. And the Trojan offense will have to respond now. It looked like it might just be easy pickings for them for the whole game, but the big turnover there is the difference, and lead cut in half. And we will see if the Dragon defense, they obviously have to be plotting. It's a longtime head coach for the Dragons and experienced coaching staff, and a defense that has played mostly pretty well. Gave up a lot of points to Montgomery, but that's expected. Even the Trojans gave up 40 points. But the Trojans have just, they have not had to pass, and if they don't have to pass at all in the game, they will almost certainly win the game because the rushing attack is so dominant if a team can't stop it, and that's what we've seen so far. Chavez will get ready to kick it away. Turner and Freitas are back. And the sun is fully set. It was mentioned a gorgeous sunset on this Saturday night. Casa got blown out against Rancho last night, but as that skips off the hands of Havard, is then picked up by Blomgren down the sideline. He's got blockers to the 50. He's at the 40. It's a foot race. 20, 10, gone. Wow. Isaiah Blomgren has a lot of speed. He had a 80-yard screen that he scored in the Santa Rosa game for a touchdown. And that one skipped off Havard, fell into Blomgren's hands, and it got everything offset in the Dragon defense. The blockers were aligned perfectly to the red, and he used that speed, and just like that, he heads right into the end zone, and that's a good response to the touchdown. Wow. So the Trojan special teams has been very good most of this year, and they show it again. Casa, well, they have struggled, certainly. But the Trojans are happy to use their field, as we mentioned, Ellison Field under construction. And the reason the schedule's all weird is it was just announced in July, so the Trojans already had their schedule up, as Blomgren's extra point is good. Trojans already had their schedule all up, so then this game had to be moved to a Saturday because of the conflict with Casa's already home game. And then senior night will also be on a Saturday night against LC Allen. That will be on the 28th of October, is this final day of September. However, the schedule did work out for in 2 weeks, Friday night. The Trojans will be taking on Healdsburg in the homecoming game. The band will be back, which will be great. And it should be packed stands and a lot of alumni here. Watch what should be a good team against the Healdsburg Greyhounds, who are 1-1 on the year, also in FCL play. And what a response there by Blomgren. Dragons will get the ball back and look to score once again. They're going to need to have an answer. But it's an exciting, high-octane game so far. Both teams have showed they have some firepower. And that's what you want. The nachos are getting delivered from over by a snack shack, which I bet serving up some great food. And this is Hoggy again. Trojans clad in their purple jerseys, purple helmets, white pants, white shoes. And they have stifled the Dragons so far. Annika has gotten some delicious-looking nachos. And Hagia goes for the squibber after he kicked the last one out of bounds. It's fielded well by the Dragon at the 35, and he's wrapped down at the 37. A good tackle there by the special team for the Trojans, which has been superb for the most part, except for obviously that Freitas mistake. And the Dragon offense will set up at the 37. So, Wetzel and the Dragon offense looking to take over. They put up 35 points against LCL last week, and a team that really is improved. And Powers or Wolbert did not get the opportunity that last possession, and nowhere to go there. The defensive line stands up strong. Oh, you wanted it. Okay. We're moving the scoreboard for you. You can see it move as we speak. And it was Thomas again with the carry. Okay. Cool. Thank you. That works. Yeah. And up the middle, a 3-yard pickup. If you want, could you go down just on the downfield and just turn that camera off for now? Yeah. Ayers on the tackle, and we've seen both Ayers brothers big game so far. Might have to talk to Dominic Ayers after this one, the way he has been playing on the ground. And obviously some changes. Players change, players break out, and maybe it's going to be Cole Powers and Dominic Ayers when, through the first 4 games, we thought certainly it would have been the Wolbert and Ralston show. Wetzel has time, and that was very tight coverage. Well done by Ayers, except they're going to call a flag. There was certainly a lot of hand fighting there, and it was going to be up to the judgment of the ref. And they're going to rule it pass interference. So that will be 15 extra yards for the Dragons. And they will march into Trojan territory. The injuries have certainly been effect. Freitas got injured in the Santa Rosa game, was out against Terra Linda, didn't look healthy against Casa, but finally last week he definitely looked a lot better. As Wetzel takes a snap from the gun, he's looking for a man up wide. It's stepped and intercepted by Ayers, and he is gone. Touchdown, Trojans. Well, Dominic Ayers made up for his pass interference the last time as he was just shadowing the Dragon wide receiver who was hearing footsteps, was starting to run and try to get out of the way before he made the catch, and it popped the ball right up. And Ayers in full stride easily picked it off, and he coasted into the end zone. And just like that, it's 27-6, and the Trojan offense, defense, and special teams are putting points up on the board like a Big 12 offense. It is Saturday after all. Trojan student section is also in here because it is a Saturday night. It's a little bit sparser than normal. They had a tailgate, though, before the game, I heard. I don't know how that went. Extra point is good by Blomgren. And things are going well for the Trojans. Thank you, Annika. If you want to just join us on camera before you enjoy your nachos first. I know you really want your nachos, but
It's all right.
yeah.
First and foremost, Trojan Live.
Always. So 28-6. And Annika, the Trojans are just finding ways to score in all sorts of ways.
Yeah.
We saw the interception there. We just saw the kickoff return. The offenses look good. This is the sign of a well-rounded team, isn't it?
I think so. I think our boys are doing really well out there, and I'm proud of them.
And certainly there was a lot of concern after last week against Danilin when the team just made all sorts of mistakes. Really
Yeah.
uncharacteristic. How would they bounce back? Would they be in a hangover? We haven't seen that so far, have we?
No, and as Coach Chris, he said that we just played our worst game last time,
Right.
so hopefully this is better.
And that is what we have seen so far. So you can go back to enjoying your nachos.
Thank you.
And 28-6, 7:26. And it's hard for the Dragons right now to hold up their heads. I mean, some of these things have just not gone right. The kickoff return was fluky as it bounced off a hand before it went. You could maybe get an extender. Before it went into Blomgren's hand, who took it to the house, and then obviously a little bit of a quirky interception there. Stumbling and going down quickly is the Dragon. Tackle was made there by Max Shattuck. Only a junior, and he might be short, but plays with a lot of spirit. We're going to switch on to me for just a second, as Matt is going to be fixing it on the field. I don't know why we're recording. So we're going to be doing a radio call once the Dragon offense takes on the field. They are going to be starting at the 33. And thank you to Casa Grande for this great setup in the press box, doing all the home games here. Unfortunately, as mentioned, the Wi-Fi not strong enough, but it's been good. The broadcast back onto the field just in time. And the Dragons' first snap from this possession is a mini fly sweep out wide, but only about 3. And that Trojan defensive line has just not let the Dragon running backs get into that second level, which has been a problem. We've seen a lot of long runs this season by running backs for the opposing team. Trojan defensive line has stepped up and not done that. And you know it was a big week of hard work after last week's really embarrassment. Up the middle and diving towards the first down marker. I think he's going to be about a half yard short. It was Winslow again on the carry, and we were seeing a lot of Tyler Winslow everywhere. They are indeed going to rule it third. No, they are going to give it the first down. They will move the chains, and they're going to have to wait for it now because they were unsure about it. So a sparser crowd definitely than normal because of the Saturday night, but enough purple on the stands to cheer on the Trojans. And only about 2 yards again. And right now, that's just not enough for the Dragons. You need 3 or 4 per carry, and they're only getting 1 or 2. An interesting decision. They just have not looked too much for Wetzel. Wetzel throwing downfield just has two non-screens, even though both times he has looked more than 10 yards downfield. The Trojan defense really got torched. One was really looked like it could be a game-changing play. Wetzel with the late toss here to Winslow, who's wrapped up from behind. And that was Luke Haggard again. Another tackle, a loss for Haggard. His 5th tackle for loss of the year. And he now has well over 20 tackles on the season. The team captain shows why he's the captain. Just pays pass on the O-line. And just so influential on the defense, but also the heart and soul of the leader of this squad. Really been playing well. In the gun, and there's a free blitzer. Wetzel gets it away as an open man, and it was dropped. Well, there was a breakdown on the Dragon O-line because that was Dominic Ayers from the linebacker who came free, and Wetzel had to get it out probably a little sooner than he would liked, though he had Norborn open, and right now the Dragon wide receivers just need to hold on to some of these balls because the seams and the slots have been there more often than not. So they'll have to punt it away again. And that is Wisman that time back, who will let it roll down to the 19. The smart play after the ankle fiasco last time. And the Trojan offense will take over with 5:01 remaining. Matthew Columba now taking over the camera, doing a wonderful job. 28-6. And the Trojan offense would like one long drive. They haven't seen the ball in a while. Would like one line drive to go up just very comfortably in this first half. Next week they'll be at Pioneer, and not too afraid of that one. It's going to be the one game we will not be covering this year for the Trojans. We always have one game we'll take a little rest on. It's acceptable. Actually, we'll be doing some JSA work that day, so that's why I had to miss it. JSA, one of the, probably our best club on campus at school. It is arguably tied, says Annika. Annika's a part of it, as are many of the students at Petaluma High. First is a up the middle and not going much of anywhere is Ralston. Wolbert is in there, and we'll try to update you on the changes. Powers has come in some plays. There have been no passing plays, but Powers has done some good job with some decision making, some passes. Do you possibly have a Kleenex? Wolbert under center, just one receiver split out wide. They are stacking the box, but just so much creativity. This one's out wide, and one man to beat. He is gone. It is Freitas. There is now another Dragon coming over, but here not gonna catch him. Touchdown. Wow. That was just speed by Freitas that time. That was impressive. Toss out wide. Thank you. And you were uncertain there if Freitas could outrun everybody, but he just completely turned on the Jets there. They got a few blocks out wide, and that's why you can't stack the box if you're the Dragons. You start second-guessing because they had 8 men in the box and just 2 split out wide. They had the wide receiver Blomgren out there to block, and you only had to block 2 guys, and then it just became a foot race, and Freitas is almost always faster than everyone he faces on the field. And that's how you draw it up. And the Trojans now looking for 2 here. Wolbert under center. It's Ayers behind him, and they fake the toss. Wolbert rolls out left, and he's looking for Ralston in the flat. Dives. Is he in? No, they're going to say. They're going to say he's short. It looks set up, but the throw might have been a little too early for Wolbert. Ralston wasn't in, and then the coverage was good. So, interesting decision. I don't know why by Coach Chris they needed to go for 2, but that was his choice. Actually, it was not a touchdown by Freitas, which is the explanation. They were not going for 2. there was no touchdown. So the rule, I believe, was that Freitas stepped out at the 2 or 3 on that run. So it turns out only being a 78-yard run. They'll try again, and now it's Wolbert. So Ralston got it down to the half-yard line, and Wolbert takes it into the end zone. Touchdown, Trojans. And that will make it 34-6. Hey, Matt, can you make sure you're recording during plays? Yeah, thanks. Yeah. So it was Freitas that was the star of that drive, as he had a 76-yard catch and run. It was mostly running by Freitas. And then Wolbert punches it in with the QB take there. And now they will kick the extra point with Blumgren. High snap, good hold. Freitas holding this time. He's a do-it-all versatile player, isn't he? Blumgren bucks it through, 35-6, and it is all Trojans right now. And this is right now a team, and actually that was Hogia with the kick, so his first PAT. He's now 3 for 3 on PATs for the year. And the Trojans have looked completely motivated in this one so far to make up for all their mistakes against Annaley. They have played near perfectly so far with only a few mistakes, and the defense has been largely dominant, forcing turnovers, which the defense has done well even against Annaley last week, and the offense is just finding all sorts of ways to score, and the Dragon defense not talented enough and just does not have enough right now to stop them. We'll see if there are any halftime adjustments to limit the attack, but the Trojans are feeling good about where they are at right now. .323 will be left for the Dragons to try to get some momentum heading into the locker room. One of the nice things about being over here for Trojans is that the ASB and some others have set up some stuff to help out with a lot of flags and signs, trying to make the Trojans feel at home. They'll beat Elson Food next year with an artificial turf. Meanwhile, this is a nice run out to the 30 for the Dragon after a good kick by Hogia. It was Norbin, who we saw drop a big pass earlier. And the Dragons will start at the 30 with 3:12 remaining. The student section singing Sweet Caroline. They're in a good mood. They're small but mighty right now. Up the middle, and about an 8-yard pickup there. That was Winslow again, the senior. And we mentioned the Trojans did this last year. They had a lost to Annaley, and then they were so good, especially on defense. They beat Sonoma 21-0. Next week, they had homecoming. They shut out Piner. They went up to Healdsburg and destroyed them. And then shut out El Molino in what was an impressive victory. It's the fake here by Wetzel. And the ball came out at the end as he was diving forward. And we'll see what the ruling is. It will remain Dragon ball at the 47. Wetzel was diving forward, and the ball got popped out. And some Dragon recovered it. I think an old lineman there. So the Trojans defeated El Molino. It was their most impressive victory. Had a shutout there. They had 4 straight shutouts, and then finished. They defeated LC Allen, and then defeated Terra Linda and Senior Night in a long league game. As first down run there. That was Garcia, the senior fullback, with the carry. And they'll move the chains. And the Trojans got those 6 straight victories. They fell to Encinal in the first round of the NCS playoffs. So there's certainly a team I think that feels like they can do the same thing and maybe impose their will a little bit more. But that is why that Annaley game was so disappointing. If they'd won that, who knows? Maybe they could have gone undefeated. And we'll talk a little bit more about this later, but as the Dragons are going to call timeout with 1:54 left as they're trying to punch it in, it's going to be so tough for the Trojans to get a good seed and go places in the NCS playoffs, even though it was a team that was seeded pretty high last year at 10, was close to a home game. The Division III in NCS could just be one of the best divisions in all this whole state because of the teams at the top. You have Bishop O'Dowd, Marin Catholic, Encinal is even better this year. You have the first 7 teams are all undefeated in NCS, and all some exceptional teams. Right now, Max Preps has them at 9, which means they would face Annalee, which would certainly be a big challenge if the Trojans were to have to back up the Tigers. But certainly they would be motivated, and they would hope they would have a chance to win that. And no matter who they're playing in that first round of the NCS playoffs, home or on the road, they're going to have a chance to beat them. But it's likely going to get tougher once you get in that second round. Cardinal Newman, Rancho, some of the other teams, so many football powerhouses this year that are playing so well in the Division III. And if the Trojans were in 2 or 4, it would just be so much better. Out wide into the 35. So another flying sweep by the Dragons, who will see if they try passing. Wetzel just has not been inclined to use his arm today, even though pretty much every time they've looked downfield, there have been Dragon receivers open. There's just been a lot of drops. Wetzel in the gun since the man in motion. Interesting fake, and now he looks downfield, and he overthrew him. Once again, the Trojan secondary just could not stay in coverage. There were 3 guys there, but they really were not on him, and that was Winslow again, who's obviously got some speed. And Wetzel put too much mustard on it. And you've seen, I don't know, nerves, adrenaline, but he's overthrew a few. So that'll bring up a 3rd down 4, and it's a big one for the Dragons, who dearly need some momentum, a little something to go into the locker room and feel okay about everything. And Wetzel fakes, goes out wide, has a man who does a good job toe tapping at the 28. Couldn't see who made the catch there, but they'll move the chains. Actually, they're going to rule him just short, I believe, now. Had the toe tap, but the way he's angled, he fell past the first down marker, but where his feet were was about 2 yards short of that first down marker. And you assume you have to go for it with 1:16 left and 4th down and 2. And they'll run out very quickly, hoping the Trojan defense is not set. Wetzel looks to the right. The ball is tipped in the air and intercepted again by Isaiah Blomgren. His 3rd interception of the year. It matters little because it was 4th down, but that's another big stop by the Trojan defense. And Isaiah Blomgren and the Trojan defense just has a wonderful propensity for forcing turnovers. And just great hands, because so much of that secondary, even though we've mentioned their struggles, a lot of them play wide receiver and have great hands. They forced 11 turnovers coming into today, and that's now their 13th. 9 interceptions now on the year, along with recovering 2 fumbles. And you couple that with forcing turnovers and most of the time in good special teams, and you have to be happy. Coach Chris is going to call timeout, and he is not happy about something. But there's mostly only happy things to be about right now, with the Trojans in control 35-6, and the defense coming up big again. And the thing to work on is that secondary. Every week they have had their problems and been burned, but it's that defensive line that has been so strong, and it is so hard to run against these Trojans most of the time. And only Annalee last week was able to do it, mainly because the passing attack was struggling so much, and the Trojans were focusing a lot on that. And the offense has been good as new, but it helps when your defense is scoring, your special teams is scoring. But if their special teams can play this well and they don't make any mistakes on either side of the ball, they can mask their secondary mistakes, and they can find some way to get just a little bit of production in this passing attack. They're going to be hard to stop by even those powerhouses, but there's about 3 or 4 ifs there with the secondary, with can they pass, and can they not make any mental mistakes or just throwing the ball over people's heads. They can do that. They can beat anyone. Annalee, O'Dowd, anyone. Back on the field. Pass out wide, and it is caught out of bounds And that was Jacob Havard with his first reception of the year. He had an interception last week against Danley, but he will now get one out wide, and that is the first pass downfield for the Trojans. It was Wolbert with the pass, and good to see that Wolbert can accurately have a pass downfield. Coach Chris screaming at the substitution issues, and they're going to have Freitas come off late. And now it's Powers back in. And the handoff to Freitas. He's got room. And all the way down to the 38. And this O-line is just paving the way for the Trojan runners right now. And we talked to them after Terra Linda, huge game. True Overton, Haggard, DeCarly, Sambita, Kreisdale. The big thing, they all returned from last year. And four out of the five were playing on that line. And DeCarly was on the team as the backup center. So because they pretty much have been together, worked together, have that varsity experience, they can really work as one and as a great team and play so well. Powers again will fake it and take it himself, and then he tosses it out to Freitas. Oh, my goodness. That is just genius from Cole Powers, and he doesn't look like an experienced junior when he does that. First, he was going to pass it out. First he was going to hand it off to Ayers behind him. Then he was going to run it. And then right before he reaches that line of scrimmage, the late toss. And it's just perfect execution in practice. And that is so hard to stop for any defense. And you just wish they could have done that last week against Danley. So they get at the 26. The clock is now down to 30. Powers has to be capable. Great pass downfield, rolling and turning. And Powers is very comfortable outside of the pocket. And he's down to the 21. And this quarterback conversation is only going to brew the better and better. Powers is going to look with the arm. But so far he's been accurate on target, and they haven't even tried pass for Wolbert downfield, who, as we mentioned, struggled a lot. 22 for 42 on the year with 310 yards passing, but a lot of that is screens, so I don't know what the exact passes downfield are, but they're not going to be pretty. Powers under pressure, but Turner wide open in the flat, and he's got more than enough blockers to streak into the end zone. Touchdown Trojans, and the clock's going to run out on this half, but they go in again, and they're going to put up 40 points in this first half. They are pouring it on. The whistle blows, but they'll have an extra point before we head to halftime. They have been electric offensively. And so this will be Hogya back out. He kicked the last PAT, and he'll kick again. Hold by Freitas, and that was really nice. So both kickers looking good. And sorry, what happened with the camera up top? It has gone black. I do not know why. But there we go. But that is the end of the first half. And things could have not gone better for the Trojans. In complete control, and the quarterback controversy is going to be brewing. It'll be interesting to see who plays more in the second half, Powers or Wolbert, and if could Cole Powers possibly be the next starting quarterback? Because right now, he clearly has that arm downfield, and Wolbert doesn't. So they're going to go back and put 9 seconds on the clock, as they have that clock running after the touchdown when it shouldn't have been. So they'll at least have a kickoff before the Dragons will mercifully head to the locker room. And this has looked a lot different than last year, certainly, which was the low-scoring, brutal affair. It has been completely offensive attack by the Trojans, who have really torched the Dragon D, who did lose some players last year. This will be Hogya to kick it away again. It's a low liner, and it will be fielded at the 25. The Dragons will just pull on it. They just want this half to end. 3.9 seconds. You did come. Serena Horvath is saying hello to me. One of the star volleyball players on the SCL undefeated volleyball team that is probably the hottest team on campus right now. What is Serena? What has been the key to your guys' success?
Probably our team dynamic. We really have great team dynamic, and we all love each other and care for each other.
What do you think, as the Dragons will take a knee and head to the locker room, what do you think this team can do for Petaluma volleyball? You guys have been so successful and are starting to get a lot of attention.
I think
was assassinated as a cover-up for his release.
Thank you. We're not interviewing you, Alex. Alex, thank you. Sorry, Serena.
I think that winning SCLs will be a big success for our team. It'll definitely make us known throughout like the full league, and it will be great.
Thank you, Serena. Enjoy your night with your friends. All right. Everyone in a good mood tonight. Had a nice interview there, quick interview with Serena Horvath. And what a first half. If you want to talk for a little bit, because I have pretty much ate nothing for the last 26 hours.
Okay, Griffin, I would be happy
if
to
Matt
talk.
wants to join you, is Matt
Matt is
coming?
off getting food, but
He's getting
let's see if we
food.
can get Gavin.
All right.
Yo, Gavin.
Yeah, if you can tell Gavin that
yo,
he can have some
Gavin.
free bantering time. Is your mic on,
We get some
Annika?
free bantering time. We got some banter time out here.
Is your
if
mic
you wanna
on?
come.
Annika, is your
yes,
mic
my
on?
mic is
Okay.
on.
We're going to switch it
Are
on
you
to you
picking
in
it up?
a second. Talk?
Hey, how's it going,
Yeah, you're good.
Trojans? Okay,
All right,
we're good.
We're going to switch it on to you. So if you want to come in here, Gavin, you can talk during halftime. If you don't
Okay,
want
do you want to just talk? You can have my mic.
Yeah, or you could just have the mic and be off camera.
Okay, there you go. So go ahead and talk. I'll do some hand gestures for you.
Nice.
Or we could try to angle the camera.
We
so we can
could.
see you. Here.
Hey, boys.
We do that.
Hey, everyone. I know you missed me. I know you missed my sweet, luscious tones. What's up?
If you stand right there.
Oh, for real stuff. Okay. What's up, guys? We're here at halftime. Cheerleaders just did a wonderful rendition of Kendrick Lamar's "Humble," sung by a white man. But I think it was pretty good. So, how do you liking the game, Monica? How do you think it differs
really
from the
liking
JV?
it.
The JFK
the
assassination was a cover-up.
JV game was kind of a sad loss for us, but I think we're really coming back in the varsity, and it's been an amazing time. And I'd like to demonstrate now the Trojan handshake.
I love you, Monica, man. You're so cool. Windmill, fist bump, handshake.
Trojans. So that's how we here
Wow.
at Petaluma/Casa show our Trojan pride, because
Yeah.
this is our adopted home, as
know
Carrie
how we
Underwood
do.
would say, our temporary home. Anyone else heard that song?
You know who? Oh, Griffin. How's wait? What's the name of the holiday that's happening right now? Is why you can't eat. It's done. That's awesome.
No.
Dude, shout out to Griffin.
Yom Kippur. So
Yeah.
Griffin basically fasted for 24 hours, even more, since he was working here really hard.
Wow.
Thank you so much, Griffin. You are amazing.
Shout out to Griffin
Shout
Epstein.
out to Griffin
for not
Epstein.
eating.
What a cool guy.
Yeah.
He is a cool
Major
guy.
shout
I just want to say one more time. The JFK assassination was a cover.
Alex, let's keep that.
Well, we could probably go and
As
edit that
you
out.
know. It is a cover up.
Well,
and we're covering it up.
halftime is
We're doing our
great.
job.
Maybe we should just
You know,
go
halftime's
to
just
the
about over.
picture
Oh,
of
hey,
the
Matt.
field.
Hey, you're Matthew Columba. How you doing?
Good, Gavin.
You having a good time?
Yeah.
Get a little.
There's so
Little
much
off.
stuff
Are
to
you
talk
good?
about, Gavin. Gavin, what should we talk about?
Oh, okay. Cool. Oh, Matt just got here.
Matt, what do you think we should talk about?
Here, I'll give you the mic.
I want to make
I'm
sister
good.
schools with a
Wait,
school,
why?
but I need Mr. Napoli to approve my
great,
proposal
yay.
first. So
Yeah, sure. Here you go.
I'm gonna make sister schools.
boy.
We're gonna have a sister school, guys, and we're gonna have social media contests with
Oh.
them. It's gonna be
Hey,
super
guys, hope you're
cool.
enjoying the game.
It's gonna build school spirit, just like Trojan Live said they
Everyone's
would.
just chilling.
And I'd like to give a shout out to the
You're welcome,
student
Gavin.
section over there.
Hey, Gavin.
Actually, one of our Trojan Live members, Luca DeBono, is over there leading it.
It's a hot
He's
dog.
just good at his job over there in ASB. He shows a lot of school pride, and I really appreciate it because that's
which night is
something
that?
that we want to show.
I don't know when.
Griffin's probably having. He's probably having us do it. Wait, Griffin. We doing senior night volleyball?
Go to senior night.
We are. We're streaming it.
Okay, why don't we announce
All right,
when
we're
that
doing that.
is? Serena.
So we're gonna stream it.
Senior
All right.
night for volleyball. I think thing is on October 12th.
And we're live.
It's where we're basically giving all the seniors all the
Sounds
respect
good.
and like love they deserve and making posters
there's
for
like-
them and whatnot. And it's our last home game, and this will decipher whether we're going to be first in SELs and go into the tournament and win it.
I'm sure on a better day, Serena could use Decipher properly, but that I get the sound of that. We're going to have senior night for volleyball on October 12th, which is just 2 days before our homecoming.
It will be live on Trojan Live.
It will be live on Trojan Live starting at 6.
So the stream should
Starting
start
at
probably
6.
about 5:50. We'll get there 10 minutes early, get going.
Tune in. So tell them, Monica, tune in at 5:50 right here on the YouTube channel.
Tune in at 5:50 on our
All right. Good first half interview and banter there. Or not first half. Good halftime interview
made an
and
effort.
banter. Yep. Start of the second half, ready to go. Trojans put up 42 points. Can they get to 80 points? Looks unlikely. The bigger story might be Cole Powers and Justin Wolbert. This battle in the second half might be who's going to be the starting quarterback next week against Piner and going forward.
I'd put my vote towards the younger guy.
That would be Powers, skipping ball, and that was almost recovered by the Dragons. That was very dangerous there, and we're going to have you on camera. Sorry, Annika.
Yeah, that's okay.
If you want, I can head up. Actually, I'll head up with you, and we can still both talk, because we don't have the on-field camera right now. So, or we do have the on-field camera. Well, we do have it on, but okay. He's filling up his water. So Trojans will start at the 42. It's a cool, calm night. Saturday night. Nice sunset, about 55 degrees. It's a warm day of about 80.
I had a fun old time in this heat.
That was good. A little hotter in Davis, no doubt. Up the middle,
Oh, no
Trojans push
doubt.
their way for a 4-yard pickup.
It was pushing 90 up there.
Oh my, yeah. Much more pleasant. Closer to the ocean.
Jacob Ralston, the ball carrier.
Student section continues to echo the music. Might be the only way they're going to get through this one. 2nd and 6 from the 41. 46, actually. And the Trojans will be akin to run the clock a lot in this second half, and there will be a running clock in that fourth quarter if the Trojans lead by more than 35 points, which at the moment they lead by 36. This is Wolbert who is starting the drive. And a late toss-out was not a good one, and that's not going to help his audition for starting quarterback.
That's rough.
And it's interesting how the ebbs and the flows of the season come. You never could have imagined at the start of the season that we might see next game Cole Powers and Dominic Ayers as starting quarterback and running back, but that might just be what we'll see.
Yeah, and that team has to work together well if we're going to pull through this season.
It's true, and does that lead to problems, chemistry problems with the team, frustrations? It all depends on the attitude of those players. Certainly running back, both Ralston and Ayers are getting a lot of playing time, but if Powers usurps Wolbert, that's obviously a big change, and you wonder certainly how many of the seniors adjust to that. Fake by Wolbert was good, and he's going to take it to the 51. He's about half-yard short, and 10-12 remaining. And your brother is at Virginia Tech right now, right?
Yes, he is. How's their football team doing?
And he must be at Denny Lane Stadium tonight for the biggest game in college football of the week.
No doubt.
At Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech and Clemson. I have it recorded on my DVR. I'm going to go home and watch it tomorrow. Very excited to watch
How
it.
exciting.
Yeah.
So who are they playing?
Clemson, the number 2 team in the country, defending
Yes,
national
I remember they were
champions.
#1 last year,
Yep.
right? Yes.
And
I
check
did
up
do
to
some
12.
research on that.
Second best team in the ACC, undefeated.
And Clemson, that's from South Carolina?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A good squad under Dabo Sweeney. Fake by Wolbert out to the 42. And Trojans continue just to move it down. They're going to be patient here, but do they want to see some passing by Wolbert and see how good his arm is? Because is it going to be El Molino, who's got a good squad and so far 2-0 on the season? And they're likely going to come into that game with the Trojans also undefeated in SCL. And they're going to need a quarterback that can throw the football a little bit against a very strong defense. Hand off to Freitas. He's got a seam. He's just outrunning everybody down to the 15. Hey, Matt.
That was a great
And
play.
Matthew Kalimba is going to, take over camera. And
Okay,
me and
go
Annika.
ahead, and don't forget to record those plays because we want to show you those highlights
Yes.
on Monday.
And very exciting, we're going to, after the game, have interviews right here for the first time ever on Trojan Live Football broadcast. Interviews right on the broadcast with our camera on the field. So stay tuned for that. Should be interesting after this one.
I believe so. And what kind of questions do you think we'll be asking those team guys after?
Well, certainly the interest with Powers and Walbert, who's going to be starting quarterback next game, and what do the players think about that? Toss out wide. This is Freitas again. He's gotten lots of action today. Dives down to the 10. He'll pick up about 5 on the first down carry.
So now we're just fighting for those extra few yards, right?
Yep, and the Trojans will still showing some tenacity, and they did do a good job last week. One was one of the few positives against Annalee that they showed a lot of fight in that game. They were trailing by 28 at a point. They got it all the way down to a 2-possession game late. Had an onside kick if they recovered, who knows. Didn't happen, but they still showed a lot of fight, so that was a big positive.
Yeah, and I love seeing that in our guys when they just push, and they don't give up.
And it looks like we have a timeout. Yeah. No, actually a late personal foul will be called, so that makes it 1st and 25. They're going to nullify that last run by Freitas, and they're going to drag all the way back up to the 30. Woolworth's still the quarterback. It was Ralston behind him, and Turner couldn't hold on to that pass. He has not gotten too much action. We should see some more of the backups. They also played really well against Annalee. We saw Prieto with a touchdown catch. We saw some good plays from Wisman with the offense. Do you want to check with Matt with the camera? Because it has gone black, and we apologize.
I will go check.
Apologies, our up top camera has gone black. We don't know why. So we're going to have to use the field for a moment. It's going to be Wolbert looking out wide, and the pass is dropped. It was Freitas, and the ball went right through his hands. He couldn't see it, but it went right through his hands. Is it working at all? Because it's not. We're not getting any. We're getting nothing. Which one is it? So we were just working this out. 3rd now and 25. Trojans might have to try a field goal. They haven't tried one all year long. Oh, no, I think it's up. Yep, we got it now. We got it now. I don't know what happened, but it's up now. Yeah. And incomplete was looking for Freitas. So that will bring up a 4th and 25. There was some laundry on the field. Holding. So didn't matter on that play. Okay. So we'll be running up and grabbing the camera in just a moment. Do you want me to run it right now, Matt? Okay. So we'll see what the Trojans try here. Would be a long field goal for Blomgren, but could try the leg. Remember, hasn't tried a field goal all year. He's looked a lot better. I will grab it. Ow!
Okay, so it looks like we have our number 5 boy in the back and our number 2 preceding him. You see that snap, and number 5 down, but who had the ball?
Some interesting play call there.
Okay.
Just gave it to Freitas.
So now the ref is placing the ball at,
Dragons will
say,
take over.
24-yard line. So that's 24 yards to go for us until touchdown. Let's see what we can do.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'll make it.
Different variation this time. Only 4 guys up front.
Wetzel
It
handoff.
seems like we're staying stagnant, and
2-yard pickup.
if Sonoma got some yardage on
The
us.
only one that get hurt. Clock continues to run.
Yep. Ball down.
Never
at
knew why they
the
made these just such steep stairs.
27-yard
the
line.
Top
It's
of
hard
the
to
press
tell from
box.
this angle, but that's my best guess.
We just think there was a better way than a ladder.
Okay, so up for the play. Got 4 guys in front again. Looks like we're trying the same thing. But the ball does not come back
hand up.
to us.
Yeah, hand up the middle. Nothing there. Trying your best at football terminology. Using that spreadsheet.
Oh, I was gonna.
Yeah. I'll pull up a chair here.
Okay, so now we're all the way back at 28.5 or 29. Maybe 28.
Yeah, your guess is as good as mine on that. Oh. It's a long night. Wetzel in the gun. He'll toss it to the one man in the backfield, and that would be Winslow. Pick up about 4. And that was the 3rd down. So it was it was a strange play call by the Trojans not to kick a field goal, I thought. But Dragons are just not doing anything offensively. Their only touchdown was on a long pass down the field that got them into Trojan territory, the only time they've been there. So they'll just try another punt. High and short, which means Freitas won't get a return, which is some good news for the Dragons. And the Trojans will take over about the 45-yard line. Well, they've certainly showed some good results tonight. It hasn't been perfect, but they have not made those mental mistakes they made last week.
I've seen some really good plays. I was very impressed with a few of the touchdowns. I think we're doing a great job tonight. I can't see Sonoma breaking through, so we'll see how we hold up for the rest of the game.
And we mentioned our next live stream will be that senior night volleyball game. A night before the homecoming game, Healdsburg, which will also be for this. Won't be live stream, same full complete broadcast. So that'll be a big game. But yeah, senior night will be against Healdsburg also for the volleyball team, and they're gonna probably go. They're gonna have a good chance of going into that, as this is the give to Turner, breaks the tackle, and a shoestring tackle is made at the 39. That might have just saved a touchdown. As Willie Justin Turner broke through the defense. Tackle by Thomas. Turner's had some big runs over the course of the year. Had a big game against Santa Rosa, including a 62-yard run at 262 yards on the season coming into this one. But there's holding, so that will bring it back 10 yards. And rescinds that run, and that makes it, 1st and 10 now. The Trojans are walking way back. I think it's going to be the 30, so snap was at the 40, so now at the 30. So you're staying at that volleyball game, and the whole crowd should be out. Senior night, 4 seniors on the team. Trojans will be honoring them, and there's a good chance, depends on what happens in their upcoming big matches, which are on the road. We'll try to get out and cover those. But that might decide if they win that, they're going to win SCL, and it's been a long time since they've done that. And now this is a team that could go and win NCS. I mean, they are talented. We live stream their first and get big wins against Annalee and Sonoma, which you can check out on our channel. It's a talented team.
I'd have to agree full-heartedly, Griffin. I know those senior girls are working really hard to keep that young team up in morale, and it seems to be working for them.
Yeah. Pass that wide to Freitas was wrapped up quickly, and that will make it 3rd and very long. Trojans have fallen behind the change here because of penalties, and that has slowed down the dynamic offense, but there's not really any concern about this. And the Trojans happy, I think, not to get some rest on the bodies. They played so many close games. Obviously, the frustrating one against Annalee, but the Casa, back-to-back Casa and Terra Linda were close. Montgomery was a shootout and close, so good to have some rest for some of the starters. And Wolbert has played so far all of the second half. I'm sorry. Wolbert played the first possession, and Powers has been in here this entire second possession. Turner has a big hole, and he's got past the line of scrimmage. He makes another tackle, and he looks to be gone. 20-10 touchdown Trojans. We just talked about Justin Turner's dynamic speed, and he does it again with a big run there. Trojans were way behind on the carries, way behind on the downs, and They gave to Turner, got a few blocks out right, and he's got some great speed just like Freitas, and he's also got that great elusiveness to break tackles, one of his biggest strengths, and we see it there. Injured Sonoma player on the field, but the 70, gosh, can't do math.
Sonoma player's up.
65.
He's walking off the field.
That is
That's
good to see. 65-yard run by Turner, and that will make it 41-6 and add some more points on the board for the Trojans.
Okay.
So Powers orchestrated that one, though it wasn't really because of him.
So we're leading by 36 points now? Does that change anything?
Well, if there was a betting line on this game, it might, but it's high school sports, so there is not. It's about pride, spirit, and figuring out who's going to be quarterback next game at this point. Extra
That
point
looks
is
good, and it is. The refs are giving a signal that we got that point.
And that was Aggia with the extra point again, so he's getting some look. The junior is quite smart, skilled in the classroom. Has been in my Spanish class a bunch of years, including this year.
Yeah, I don't know him personally, but I like seeing him out on the field making those field goals.
It's definitely fun, especially now as a junior, to see so many of the maybe not close friends, but people you know and you've had classes with and talked to are just generally nice people. To see them succeed on the football team and get that school spirit is really nice. Derek Pomey, one of the best players in defense.
Oh, I do know him, actually.
Just a really nice guy.
He is,
Had him on
definitely.
a Little League team a while ago, and it just works so hard out there, and you can see, no surprise that he's excelling and playing that well. And that makes it so fun as a student to come out and watch it and cheer on the people that you've really got to admire and respect.
Now, this is definitely the difference between watching a high school football game and watching something pro on the television or even live. It's just you have a greater sense of personality with the players.
Yep.
And I think that really helps keep people engaged and definitely keep people excited about the wins.
So Blomgren will now kick it away. And back to receive. And making a nice juke move, and he's dragged down at the 22, is Gavin Kohler, the 6'1", 155 wide receiver, junior. Earlston with a tackle. And he's everywhere on the field, too. Also a nice guy. He's in Mr. Knox's 4th period class, so
we get to chat with him a bit.
Likes to say hi to me, and So we're leaving the Daily Morning Trojan broadcast. Speaking of the Daily Morning announcements, everyone that's tuned in should check out those too, shouldn't they, Annika?
Yeah, maybe not the last one. We saw it fall apart a bit at the end there, but
it was all good before that.
I think it was pretty good, yeah. And this week has just been kind of a success. We've been able to get all our videos up, and I think we're really proud of that.
Ball on the ground, and it was picked back up. The Dragon player just lost it, I think, unimpeded, and then landed back on it. He'll lose a good 4 or 5 yards, and not a lot has gone right tonight for Sonoma, who's 1-2 on the year. They got the nice victory against Elsie, but they've looked unexperienced, young, and just not at the same talent level for the Trojans, who've played one of their strongest games, no doubt. They've looked certainly motivated and seen a lot of things coming from a lot of places, but it has also started a quarterback controversy with Powers and Wolbert. And a reminder, Wolbert is the senior, so he started all games last year and started to develop as a passer, and you would have expected that you would have seen more of that, as out wide there is nothing going there. A good tackle out wide there by Blomgren. And it was Wetzel who tried to take it himself and could not find anything.
You were talking about the two quarterbacks, and do you think they have different strengths? Or are they very similar in the way they play?
I think they do, and that's what started the controversy. You expected Wolbert would have the passing coming into this year, but he has just had nothing. He has not been able to complete passes downfield. They've been inaccurate. He hasn't looked confident, and maybe it's become mental for him, but that limits the Trojans. All they can do are screens, and even then he's on target. And we've seen some struggles with some of his tosses out wide. His decision-making is always superb. It's about a 4-yard pickup by the Dragons, and that will make it, that was 3rd down, so they'll make it 4th and 17, and the Dragons will have to punt it away. So with Wolbert struggling so much with passing and there just has not been any solutions, Power's arm just looks a lot better, and he seems confident with it. And maybe Wolbert is the better decision maker, but everything we've seen from Power so far indicates that he understands this offense and he has good chemistry with his players.
Well, I just am going to agree with Griffin there. I like what he says.
So down at the 35 as Trojans just let it roll. That's where they'll take over. 2 minutes and change remaining. One injury that the Trojans have been paying attention to. Hayden Fellier out for the second straight game. The tight end is a threat as a big target out of the tight end. Also a really superb blocker, but was out with an injury last against Danley, and he's still just in street clothes. I hope he's back. He's still week to week, so would like him back against Piner, but as long as he's back against the big game, like road game against El Molino, that would be the Trojans' preference. Havert split out wide to your left. It's Blomgren at the top of the screen. And Wolbert is back in there. They're just rotating drives now. Up the middle, a little spin move. That was Ralston. And last time in the fourth quarter, we saw a lot of the backups come in, so we'll expect to see that again. 3 or 4 yard pickup. And actually, my eyesight proves me wrong again, as they're going to have 7-yard pickup. Derek Pomey, who does not play a lot of offense, but he was the ball carrier that time. And the Trojans do have a resources of riches at the running back position, don't they, Annika?
Hey, tell me about it.
Yeah, so we talked about Ralston Ayers. We've seen Freitas. We've seen Turner. But you'll see Prieto had a nice fourth quarter against Danley. Eric Diaz will be in there. You'll see Dominic Pignata, Alex Sanchez. Colton Prieto are all in there doing work. Toss out wide and hit hard and brought down is Diaz. So they're showing everyone now, and that was a better-looking toss by Wolbert. And that moves the chains. A first down, a 4-yard pickup. And everything is going to be judged by both of these quarterbacks now. That might be the most interesting question of the night, and we're not sure if Coach Chris will give a straight answer to it, but who's your starting quarterback now, Coach?
We'll see what he says. It's going to be exciting, and as soon as we get this game over with, we'll go out in left field and get those interviews for you.
And you can see them right here. They'll also be on our daily morning announcements coming up this week on the Sports Corner. Wolbert will fake. He'll take it himself. Spinning. Oh, my goodness. Well, that is dangerous there. You get held down by the ankles, and you're sort of just in that position where you can't move. And it was number 29, Delfino Macias, the inside linebacker, who laid down the boom on Wolbert. And certainly taking some frustration out probably there. He seems fine, though. He'll stay in. More changes for the Trojans, with some of the starters maybe coming out, including Wolbert, who now is going to come out. So they are going to check him, and Powers is back in. It's Diaz, the man in the backfield. Powers calls an audible. He'll send Prieto in motion. He fakes it himself. Now tosses to Prieto, who spins, dives, and there's nowhere to go. Some of the juniors we'll see a lot more of next year. But certainly some talented juniors this year. Of course, Freitas, that have made a big impact on this team. And this team has definitely improved over last year. There's just no doubt about it.
I don't have a doubt in my mind. I mean, I remember coming to the games last year, and I feel like there was a string of disappointments. But now I'm just feeling a string of victories. Seems like we got a timeout.
End of the third quarter.
End of the third quarter.
So
Okay, so we're going to take a little break here and then jump back in for the fourth and final quarter.
And as the cheerleaders cheer, let's cut it back on to us, Annika. I'm sorry you have to get up out of your chair.
I
but
do. It's been getting chilly in here with this window
it is getting a little
open.
cold, chilly, but a little less exciting third quarter. But the Trojans are firmly in control of this one, and this has to get their confidence back up, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think so. We're leading 41 to how many? 41 to 6. So.
And I believe it's
Sonoma
49, actually.
49
48?
now?
47? I don't know. The math gets hard with the Trojans this high scoring, but there are a wealth of resources on that offense. If they can just do it right, we have some of our Trojan Live supporters giving their love once again, what else is on our YouTube channel that our viewers should check out?
I am not up to date with this, but we do have our daily morning announcements. Hopefully soon we'll have sort of a funny show up for you that I
Yeah.
know our film team has been working really hard for. I can't really think of anything else, but here we go again with
Well,
the
all
football.
all the other sports that we have, all the sports from last year, check out all the football games from last year, all up there. We're going to have whistles before Powers could take the snap, and they're going to have offsides on Sonoma. A few too many self-inflicted mistakes tonight by the Dragons. That will move the chains and the Trojans back into Dragon territory. As we mentioned, Dragons played LC last week. They have a tough match against Annalee next Friday. Handoff. No, I'm sorry. Great fake by Powers. And that shows Annika that he just seems to have confidence. His fakes have looked as good as Wilbert, and some of those tosses have just seemed more confident.
And I think that shows some decision making there too on his part. So even if he is the less experienced of the two, I see him as an up-and-coming star here.
That seems like what it could be. He'll no doubt be the starting quarterback next year for the Trojans, and they seem to be in good hands. But the question is this year, and certainly a team that's going to lose a lot of seniors, the focus is now. Wilbert under center, and the plethora of running backs continue in the backfield, but Powers is using his blockers. He's bouncing off them, and now he's got a wide open pylon touchdown. Oh, Cole Powers. Wow, what a run there.
Another touchdown for the Trojans.
That was impressive, too. That is following your blockers, being smart, and he just followed them, and then all of a sudden realized he had the whole Red Sea opening up on the left side, and he could pretty much walk in as once you get those offensive linemen into the secondary, you're in a good spot, and Powers shows off his smart brain. He's a multi-sport athlete, too, and that might help. Also,
Baseball?
JV basketball last year, and
okay.
expects to be on varsity this year. So, Wilbert's on basketball, too, though. So, could they have a competition there, too? Who knows? Don't want them to become frenemies or anything. Both just such a nice, smart gentleman. Extra point by Hogya is good, and both kickers have looked good. So that's been good to see.
So our two kickers this year are Hogya and then Blomgren,
Yep.
right?
Blomgren was backup last year to Thomas DeYoung, who graduated. 56-6, and it's 50-point lead now for the Trojans. There's laying it on, and then there's laying it on. And the Trojans have gave full confidence. They've taken out all their anger, all their suffering probably in practice at the hands of Coach Christ. And you always know Coach Christ does a great job when a team comes out and plays like this. They've obviously improved, and obviously a lot of credit to the players, but the coaches obviously have such a big impact on this too.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. Coach Chris, he really does a great job getting these boys into shape and then telling them how to play the field. And I see some great football players out there tonight.
Dragons will get the ball back with the clock winding down here in the fourth quarter. Saturday night approaching Sunday morning.
I can tell that for sure.
Yep.
It's been a long day.
The crowd's starting to thin out.
Well, maybe that's due to them knowing who's going to win already.
Yep. Well, you can't deny it any longer. Kurt? Or a police officer. There's a police officer. I wasn't sure if you want to get the softball coach Kurt Janstow or the police officer. They both warrant lots of attention. A line drive, and it heads out again. Hoggy's going to need to work on that. That's the second time today he's kicked one out of bounds. He's got the leg, though, to do it. So we talked a little bit about the upcoming Trojan schedule on the road next week. Saturday will be Saturday afternoon game at 1 against Pioneer. Pioneer still does not have lights.
Wow.
So they just have not been able to get the funding, and there's been some of the people living in that area don't want lights because they want their Friday nights calm. But you
Well,
know,
you are living in Santa Rosa at
Yeah.
that point, so
And
it's not exactly a small
those
town.
people obviously just do not understand, as the Dragons will head back on offense, how much the high school football really gets the spirit and passion going of the whole community.
It really can. And I think that today this game can really be called the heart of Petaluma
Yeah.
community.
And we saw it with the Egg Bowl. Everyone came together. Everyone in the whole town knew it was happening, and everyone was here.
I was here.
Yeah. I mean, it was great. Homie makes another tackle, and he's had another strong game today. Pickup of about 2 was Winslow again, who's been the junior workhorse today for the Dragons. So the clock keeps on running down, under 10 now to go, 2nd and 7 from the 36 for the Dragons. End around, and the the Trojan defense is wrapping people up again. Griffin Sizemore forced Newman out. The short senior, he's only 5'7". So yeah, obviously just some people maybe just don't get. They haven't been to the high school football games. They don't understand how important it is for a community.
And
It's
Pioneer just has such
more
a
school.
nice field and
They
a
do.
nice track. We
Right.
have track SCLs there, last 2 years
Yeah.
at least. And it's just a nice facility, and I think they could improve it with some lights. And if they have the funding, I say go ahead.
And then we talked about on the 13th, Trojans will be taking on the Healdsburg Greyhounds, and it will be homecoming. That will be exciting, won't it?
Hopefully the school will show a big turnout here to the game.
Yes, and it no doubt will. And also the band will be here, which will be great. A little sad the band's not here tonight for league game, as Wrestle down as Wetzel. And that was... Let's see if my binoculars can aid me there. It was Sambita, another junior with the tackle on the defensive line. And a lot of backups in there getting action. He's Shattuck, Patterson, Sizemore, Zambita, we mentioned, Barrowbolt. Havard remains in there as a starter. Oh, hello, Laura.
Hey.
Trojan stacked the box with only one out wide. Actually, it's a punt. That's why they're doing it. And now they think about faking. It was second time he's punted it. This time it's too late now. And now it's just a chase. There's definitely holding. He's going to go back to his right. He lost it downfield. He's got a man wide open, but that's why he's not the quarterback. That was an adventure, wasn't it?
Long play, long play.
Matt. That was Newman, the punter, and they tried to fake to have some fun, and the Trojans were ready. There was holding anyways, as we mentioned. Doesn't matter. Turnover downs, Trojans will take over in Sonoma territory. What were we talking about before then? Forgot.
Homecoming.
Oh, yes. Yeah, so a lot of alumni come. The band, which is great, should be
I
here.
really miss that sound.
I do, too, and it's a little disappointing they're not coming to all the league games, just the Egg Bowl and homecoming. But a little hard on Saturday nights.
Maybe we'll have to do a story on that
Road.
decision.
You know, I don't wanna hurt Mystery of Lynn. He does a great job. He really does. You know, they'll be back next year in full force, no doubt. But yeah, it is wonderful to hear those wonderful tunes echoing from the band. It can help you get through those tough moments in life, you know. So Powers has looked like he's taken over for the night. Wolbert's night is done. The question is, how much will we see him on the field next week? This is Colton Prieto up the middle, who, as we mentioned, played well against Annalee last week. Prieto had 2 carries for 13 yards. He had 7. Oh, and he's got a fan section, too. He got 7 yards. 7 was his long, but now with the 12-yard carry, it's the long of the year. And he caught a touchdown pass for 24-yard touchdown pass. Was the final touchdown of the game for the Trojans. Cut it to 16 late in that fourth quarter.
Maybe it won't be the last, though. We still got some time on the clock.
Not the way he's playing right now. Diaz is dotting the I, but before that, there's flags. And offsides, or as the PA announcer likes to say, encroachment on the Dragons. So homecoming should be fun. We'll be right here again, full complete game against Healdsburg. Trojans will look to Healdsburg. Could provide a test. They did not last year, but
Okay.
they've played a little. They've got a few victories. They beat San Rafael earlier this year. Not a bad victory against an all right team. So
our knowledge seems to be pretty limited on Healdsburg's team this year, huh?
it's a strange team. They've lost enrollment, that whole school, so they've been down more. Oh my! Oh goodness! Well, poor Prieto got his head taken off and the ball popped out, and he's not feeling too good after that. It's the few offensive linemen did not do their job that time for the Trojans, and the Dragons took them off. How are you doing tonight, Laura?
How are you? What am I doing?
You sure? Oh, sorry.
Well, Laura, we just like to ask you, do you think that this football game could be called the heart of the community tonight?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Do you see lots of faces out here, familiar faces, of course, from Petaluma?
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, and that student section, is it just still raging tonight?
Yes. I know what you want me to say. I heard that like a third of the student section left already. Why? I'm
sick. That must be it.
Oh,
um
sorry to hear that, but football stops for nothing, as we say here.
That's true.
yeah. I went to work and then
Where do you work?
with my mom.
Oh.
I work at farmers markets.
Oh, I went to a farmer's market this morning.
Yeah.
Check out Laura's stand at the farmers market.
Yeah.
Thanks. It's in at the Luther Burbank Center in
Oh, in Santa Rosa.
Yeah.
And which stand should our viewers be checking out?
what produce?
It's not produce.
Oh.
It's a craft.
Oh, even more exciting.
Yeah, my mom makes dry flower arrangements like hydrangea and manzanita and eucalyptus.
Eucalyptus. Those are those really tall trees we see dotting the landscape out in West Petaluma.
Yeah, that's where I live.
Laura and I know something about being west of Petaluma now, don't we?
Yeah, so west that we don't even get the geofilter on Snapchat.
I get the Marin geofilter. so-
Really?
yeah,
I
Marin
don't get
County.
anything.
Because I am practically on the border there. You can feel the roads, and it goes bumpy, 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 smooth.
I don't get any like geofiltered or like geotag like as to where I am. You should probably put this on because I have no idea what's going on.
So,
Thank you, Laura, for that interview.
Thanks for Laura for joining us, and we.
just came to like help clean up, but I thought the game was over.
That would be really helpful if you could do that. And we're going to be grabbing an interview on the field live because our Terra deck is working. If you want to go down on the field and run camera for the last 3 minutes of the game, and if you want to grab the mic, if you want to find the mic somewhere,
It
the
should
mic
be in
is
the
somewhere.
little baggie in that box.
It should be in a baggie, and then there's a cable for the mic too. So on the last play, a long run for the Dragons, about 20 yards. Probably, looking there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there should be a black bag, a little black baggie for the
Looks
mic.
like a pencil, yeah.
Looks like a pencil. Up the
Pencil
middle.
case, I was going to say.
Nowhere to go. So Dragons got a little movement. Yeah. So get it, and then
So as
yeah,
Griffin
and then find the
talks
cable
Laura
for
through
it.
the
cable should be in
methods
there
of
for it.
interviewing on fields, I'll keep you guys updated on
Yeah.
what's happening on the field. So it seems like not much right now. The ball is placed at. I can see. Oh. Snap back to Sonoma's 21, and then he passes off, and
Yep.
it is a dog pile out there.
They're still fighting hard. It is, and Dragons will move back into Trojan territory, but it's all too little, too late. Clock has just run down. There's just 2 minutes left. It's probably going to be the final possession of the game, and then we're going to have interviews. So do not go anywhere, because it should be good. And I think Laura's produce stand is going to be craft stand is going to be getting some new customers next Saturday at the Luther Burbank Center.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go. I want to go up and check it out.
Well, we do also have a farmer's
Ball on the
market here
ground.
in Petaluma, which I just love. I love going to the farmer's markets.
Yeah,
There's
that's fun.
one Tuesday on the east side.
And then
And
Saturday at Warner Park.
I've gotten some nice tea there
Oh.
and some nice peaches and this like dairy-free ice cream.
Wow.
It was pineapple flavored.
Exotic.
It was.
Where'd it go?
I
Oh, you're
quite enjoyed
holding
it too.
So if you want to see where the camera is over, Laura. See, there's a
So,
camera over there.
One of the Sonoma guys is
If you want
holding
to go
the
over there
ball
and plug it in
steady, so he snaps it back,
there. Yeah,
way
you-
back,
yeah,
but
that's fine.
it's not received.
So
But
it's a-
there he
this
goes
is
with
a
the
punt.
punt.
And it will be the fourth down. It will be rolling down to the 21. Trojans will have 106 to take a few knees. And then interviews will follow. Trojans will move to 5-1 on the year. Sonoma to 1-3. Both teams will now be 1-1 in SCL. Trojans were a game and a half back of El Molino, Annalee, and Healdsburg on the year, but now they'll just be a game back, and they're going to have to. It's the long road back to winning FCL, but if they can go undefeated and pray that Elmo or someone beats Annalie, then Sonoma. Then we've played well tonight, Laura. Laura making the good observation that the score is not close, and we are playing pretty well. Laura Sandoval, definitely a football expert, if you all know her. Trojans will take over at the 30A. I'm sorry, it just comes and goes. Actually, they roll a penalty on the Trojans, so the Dragons will get it. No, yes. My eyes are deceiving me more and more.
Almost through, but he does not get it.
Yep,
the Trojans
9-yard
stop him.
pickup, and that was Reyes with the carry. Actually, it was Sherwood. Max Preps is wrong sometimes with numbers. Palmy makes another tackle, and he's got quite a section. 2nd and 2. Dragons are now going quickly because they'd like to put more points on the board and not say that they got lost by 50. Even people that don't know football know you don't want to lose by that much.
Unless it's golf.
Well, then you've won by 50, not lost by 50. Annika shows off her sports knowledge to us once again. That's the snap. That's the ball game, folks. Interviews are next. Final score, Petaluma 56.
Great.
Sonoma 6. Trojans face Piner next week. Then it's Healdsburg, Elmo, and Elsie to finish off the season.
Okay. So
We're going to
let's
head
get
down to
out
the field
onto
right
the
now
field.
with some interviews. So stick right here. Interviews are next. Matt, so before we get that, could you help with we're doing the interview on the field? Could you get the settings for that? Could you just leave that up here? Okay.
I think my mic's still on. Gonna turn that off.
So just stick with us as we grab our interviews. Players getting their handshake. So as we mentioned, Piner next week, then Healdsburg Homecoming will be here, and then Elmo is next Friday. We'll be on the road covering it. That should be a big game on the 21st. So they're going down to the field to set up for interviews. Yeah, so what do we need? So can you get everything ready for that? Okay. Okay, okay, I will go down to the field.
All right. Hey, guys. Matthew Klimb on the mic right now. Griffin Epstein is heading down to the field right now to go and get your interview. Let's see. Does he have everything he needs? He's got that. Mic cable, Griffin, Klutz. Do they have everything? I hope they have everything. Well, we'll find out if they have everything. Let me just double check this box right here. See if they were Klutz. What they did. Looks like they have a cable, so should be pretty fine out there. So that was actually a pretty good game for the Trojans. They came out with a very strong win, 56-6. Seems like a lot of the calls were leaning towards the visiting team. But the Trojans still pulled through with an impressive win. Another one to add to the books.
Hello. Hello, my name is Laura Sandoval.
All right,
Hello,
over
my
to
name
Laura.
is Laura Sandoval. I'm reporting live from Petaluma High School. I am currently on the football field testing the mic. There is a large... Do you hear me? This is me at regular voice. This is me at really loud voice. This is me at Griffin voice.
The audio is now up all the way. Keep on talking, Laura.
I'm here with Star Quarterback. That's literally how Griffin talks. So let's test it the way Griffin talks.
Yes. It is on. It is off.
It is off.
Oh yeah, now it's much louder. Now it's much.
Do you hear me?
Keep on talking.
Okay, sorry. Hello. Griffin's mad. Hey, how you doing?
Now.
Hi. Hello. Hi. Hello. Hello.
Good.
Hi, my name is Laura Sandoval. I'm reporting live from Petaluma High School. I'm currently on the Petaluma High School football field. The Trojans won 56-6. Pretty close game, Pretty close game, I think. But the Trojans played pretty well. They're over there taking a pic with Sonoma, and they have a sign. I don't know what the sign says. What does it say? Wait, what does it mean? What does it say?
We're still live and on the broadcast.
What does it say?
Right now, and it's picking up audio, so
From the mic?
pretty good.
Okay, cool. So on the field behind me, they can see. Wait, Matt, can they see me right now?
That's what all we see is Petaluma on your shirt. Okay, now I see. Now you're.
All right. So behind me, they are taking photos for Forsich Strong, who, if you have not heard, was an Annalee football player who was, you want to take my, he was an Annalee football player. He played last week against the Trojans. And then had a tragic incident on either Saturday or Sunday. I'm not sure. I think it might have been the ocean or a river. I'm not sure. But he was jumping in. It was too shallow. He hit himself on some rocks or something. I'm not exactly. I have not exactly read through the story, but I believe he was I don't think he's paralyzed, but severely injured. He's still in the hospital, and his football career is probably done. He might never be the same. I'm not exactly sure on the exact details, so I don't want to say anything definitive. But both teams got together and got a sign out, Force It Strong to support, which is really, really nice for both teams to do so. So really glad that we are seeing that on the support. And now the teams are going to get a huddle, and then we're going to grab an interview as soon as they're done. I think they're going to be done right now. If you could talk, Annika, to everybody, because I am going to get an interviewee.
Okay, well, that was a great game for the Trojans, especially after our loss last week at Annalee. We were feeling pretty devastated, but now with this great comeback, 56-6.
JV also won.
No, not our JV. Sonoma's JV won. Our JV didn't fare so well this game, although we do know that they're struggling a bit this season, but I'm seeing a comeback in the future. We got someone from Sonoma. Would you like to be interviewed?
I won't swear. I promise. Go ahead.
All right, so what position do you play?
Linebacker.
Say that again.
Linebacker.
Okay, and as a linebacker, what do you feel was your main strength?
I don't know that answer.
Okay, what about your main weakness?
That they were too easy.
So you're a JV player?
Yeah.
Okay, so what grade are you?
10th.
He's a 10th grader. Here's Griffin back with one of our interviewees.
All right, thank you, Sonoma Valley player, for the great interview. But now we have one of the stars for the Trojans' last few games, running back senior Dominic Ayers, and you had another strong game. What has changed in your game the last few games to enable you to have these big games rushing?
Well, last couple games we've been really watching film a lot, and being in the right spot at the right time really helps.
And how has it helped your team that obviously Jacob Ralston has been big, but how is it that you can have a second running back behind him that you can really rely on too?
Well, rotating the plays a lot, keeps us all fresh and in the game, and that's where we score some big touchdowns, and without him and me and the whole team and offensive line, that's how we get stuff done.
Team walloped Sonoma tonight. How motivated were you guys after the Annalee loss to come out strong today?
Well, Annalee really hurt us, as we're seniors and even the juniors, Very tough team, and I can't kind of, without, you got to cut that part out. So I was going to say pissed off, but I can't go on Trojan Live. But, yeah, I don't want, it pissed us off, so yeah.
You were upset. You were frustrated about the Annalee loss. Yeah, we are on a recorded broadcast right now. But one final question: how are you going to keep this high level of intensity up that you had tonight against a lot of other teams that might not be at the same level of you, but if you have an off night, could pick on you guys?
I don't really know how to answer that question. I don't know.
All right, actually, one more. Cole Powers had a lot of playing time along with Justin Wilbert tonight. Do you believe there's a quarterback competition now between the two, and how does that affect the team?
Well, they're putting a lot of pressure on the starting quarterback. He's been doing this offense for a while. I think by rotating backs, not much of competition. It's just rotating, it's keeping the defense on their toes and making some good plays down the stretch.
Thank you so much, Dominic. All right, we are going to try to grab... No, it's all good. We're going to try to grab Derek Pomey. Oh, and thank you for recording, because I forgot to tell you. We are going to grab Derek Pomey in an instant, so Laura can take over.
Hello, my name is Laura Sandoval, and I'm back. Currently standing on the field. The JV lost, but the varsity won. So that's important. Yeah. Hey, would you like to be on Trojan Live?
Yeah, cool. I did it.
You just can't swear, okay? It's live, so you can't. Okay. My name's Laura Sandoval. What's your name?
Adier Gallardo.
All right, and what grade are you in?
I'm a freshman.
And I assume you're playing for JV or the freshman team? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, and what position do you play?
I play cornerback, kickoff, and kick return.
And how was this game for you guys?
Well, we took the W really bad, and we ended their streak, and we're taking home with the dub.
Good, great. Anything else you'd like to add?
This season, we're just gonna go undefeated. That's it.
For JV, obviously.
For JV, yeah.
Because you guys took the L pretty hard in varsity.
That's varsity. I'm not in that one.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hola, hola.
I don't know what to do anymore. It's already live, so it's already on there. Yeah. You can see it right now. Okay, Griffin's coming. Good. I interviewed one of them.
All right. Sonoma JV players are trying to take over. Okay, make sure to record again. All right, we are here with Derek Pomey, and Daniel DeCarli, both juniors. And first for Daniel, you guys controlled the lines on both sides of the field tonight. How important was that for you guys?
Well, just important every game. You got it. That's what starts with the whole offense is the offensive line, and that's how we keep things rolling, and that's how we do our offense.
And Derek, you brought up this year from JV last year, and you've been one of the most important players on the defensive end. What do you feel like you've brought to the team?
I don't know. Our D-line did great stuffing and holding the linemen and letting Nick and we just scrape to the ball and hit the guy. I mean, the D-line did great of keeping the guys off us tonight.
And the defense has been forcing a lot of turnovers lately. How important is that for your guys' confidence and for helping out the offense?
Oh, yeah, it's real important because our job is get the offense back on the field and have the defense on the field as little time as possible.
And you guys were holding up a sign after the game. What was that about?
Well, one of my friends from Annalee High School, we played against him last Friday night, and he was in a swimming accident on Sunday afternoon. And dove into the water, hit his head on the sand, snapped his neck, and right now he's paralyzed from the waist down. But looking at the positive side, he's getting better.
And you guys were obviously a lot better than Sonoma, and you're going to be a lot better against a lot of the teams coming up. How do you keep that same level and intensity that you guys had tonight?
We have to look at every team like they're the best team in the league, because right now we want a good spot in playoffs, so we need to produce and put the points on the board no matter what. We can't let up and play down to their level.
Thank you guys so much. All right, Coach Chris is coming up next to wrap up the night.
Well, Griffin's going to go out on the field and catch us a Coach Chris. I almost stumbled over that one. Coach Chris. And so we see Griffin walking out over there towards the coaches, and hopefully he can snatch us an interview, because the main issue tonight is, do we have a quarterback competition between Cole Powers and Justin Walbert? We saw a lot of playing out on the field today by both the quarterbacks, and it's a tough call, really. Maybe they're just working together as a team, rotating, as Dahmer said, or maybe we're going to see some friendly competition for the starting quarterback for the rest of the season. Obviously, Cole Powers, he's a junior, so he will probably be starting next season, but the question really is, what are we going to do next week and the week after that? Week after is the homecoming game with Healdsburg, and that's at home. Hopefully we see a huge student section for that one. No, the week after next. Yeah, so that'll be really exciting to see us play against Healdsburg. Hopefully we will win. They try to set it up with kind of an easier team for the homecoming game, just so we can especially win and build that school pride, which is also something that Trojan Live is working on. We invented a school handshake, actually, and we made a great video. You can see that on our channel on Thursday's daily morning announcements, I believe. And yeah, we also have some other projects in the works, so stay tuned on that front. Hopefully we can build that school spirit, because we need it. Griffin is coming.
All right, thank you, Annika. Here with Coach Chris after the Trojans defeat Sonoma 55-5 or 55-6, 56-6. It was by a lot of points. And how motivated was this team coming after the Annalee game to turn things around?
Well, it took us a few days this week to kind of get rolling, but around Wednesday, we started to pick things up in practice and things like that. So the kids got more excited about the game. But it's hard coming off a loss like that. But it was good to be back in Petaluma, and even though we're not home, and be able to get back on the winning track.
And Cole Powers and Justin Warbert had about equal playing time today. Is there now a quarterback competition between those two?
I don't think it's a competition. I just want to be able to use both of them because they're both good. They both, I think, have earned a place to play. They're both good quarterbacks. I have good confidence in both of them, and it's just nice because they have different qualities that we need, and I think it just makes us better using both of them.
So do you see about an equal amount of playing time per snaps in the game for both of them going forward?
I would say it has everything to do with what's going on in the game. So anything can happen depending on what we need at a particular moment. In terms of equal snaps, really I couldn't even tell you because it's all game time situations.
There was a lot of motivation tonight for the team to come out strong. How does the team keep that going forward when maybe some of the teams aren't at a higher level?
Well, it's important for us if we want to make get a decent seed and get an opportunity to play Annalee again. We have to win out, so we have to win these games. Every game's really important on our placement in the playoffs. So we've already qualified, so that's a good thing. But we want to get a decent place so we can play a team that we have a good chance of beating in the playoffs.
Thank you so much, Coach. Congratulations on the win.
Thanks, guys.
All right, that is Coach Chris, and that is going to wrap it up tonight. You guys want to come out here, especially Laura did Laura did a good job coming up, and she's going to help take down. So thank you to her. Thank you to Luca for setting up and helping out.
Gavin a little bit.
And Gavin did a little bit. He did do a little bit. We'll give him that. And, of course, Matthew Kalemba, our wonderful producer, did a great job today. Rushed over after his job and helped out with the show.
Nachos, so I am eternally grateful for that. Thank you, Matthew, once again.
And thank you, Annika. I think you enjoyed yourself tonight.
I really did. I had a great time out here at the field.
And the Trojans were motivated, and they certainly played well today. They dominated Sonoma on both sides of the field, and they showed a lot of their versatility. Can they keep it up? We asked all the players that, and they're going to have to keep their motivation up. It'll be interesting to see. Next home game will be homecoming against Healdsburg, so check that. That broadcast won't be live. They're on the road next week against Piner, and then Healdsburg won't be live, but same recorded broadcast should be up Saturday or Sunday on our channel. And of course, check out the girls varsity volleyball team senior night, the 14th. That will be live, 6 p.m. right here on Trojan Live, and you can check out all of our other sports coverage right here on our YouTube channel. For Matthew Kalemba, Laura Sandoval, Gavin Newell, Luca DeBono, and Annika Schmidt, I'm Griffin Epstein, wishing you a very good night from Casa Grande Field. Trojans win. Thank you, Laura. Trojans win 56-6. They move to 5-1 on the season. So long. Thanks for tuning in. Good night.